All right, Pawn on Lansdowne is pleased to welcome back onto the program our pal at Naturally Cats 11. If you listened last year, we had them on the program to talk some Baltimore Orioles. They were kind enough to take their time to come back into the Lions' Den with not just me this time, but with Jake and Liam as well. They have joined the conversation this time. Welcome back onto the program, and it's good to have you back on.
Yes, I'm honored to be on a podcast for the only team that finished worse than the Orioles in the AL East last year.
Fair enough to throw that back in because we could jump in right away because this time last year, I will admit, it was it was great talking with you, of course, but I was talking with you under the pretense that Baltimore was almost certainly going to come in DFL, dead fucking last. That was a bad little reversal of fortune. I was saying to you, I was like, I was kind of like, just kind of rubbing like the Orioles' heads, like, oh, you whippersnappers, you guys, you're doing fantastic. Yeah, Adley's going to be fun. Grayson Rodriguez will be up at some point, DL Hall, all those guys. And they end up having a great year. So the first question I think I have is, what was the dark sorcery of the wall dimensions being changed that led to a fourth place finish for the Baltimore Orioles? Changing the walls clearly at Camden Yards had to have been the only explanation as to how well they played last year, which to their credit they did.
I really want to give like a more thoughtful answer, but legitimately, Adley, I think you can pretty comfortably argue was the biggest difference between the 2022 Orioles and the 2021 Orioles. Because the 2021 Orioles had Pedro Severino, who could not catch. Like, objectively, I do not know how he ended up being a catcher. Like, he was... Because we had Matt Wieters for several years. It was pretty solid. So, like, my exposure of, like, remembering the Orioles is largely, like, a pretty solid defensive catcher. So when they started the tank, they had, like, 1 year of Wellington Castillo, and then they had, like, 1 year of, like, Caleb Joseph. Once the full tank started, it was like, okay, we have Pedro Severino. We are so committed to tanking. We are going to have a catcher who cannot, like, do any aspect of catching. Like, he wasn't able to block balls. I don't think he was good at framing. He was not good at any defensive aspect of catching. He was vaguely competent offensively by catching standards, but, like, he was a liability for, like, the developing pitchers, and they were just knew if a single curveball goes in the dirt, it's a wild pitch. So they had someone terrible defensively at the defensive position that directly impacts like half of your roster. So, and then, Adley had, I forgot what injury. It wasn't that severe because he eventually showed up in May. And like, he was good defensively. And he
great
could
defensively.
Hit. Yeah.
He's a great framer. His pop time he's a complete player, man.
Yeah.
He is so unbelievably good. I know we mentioned Jake and Liam. We've mentioned him on the program. He is so fantastic just all around. I could make this an Adley Rutschman, complete gush fest for the next hour and a half. If I could, I would. Have him in Dynasty Baseball too, so it works out. But again, just a complete catcher and a definition of a franchise cornerstone. He was a blast to watch last year. He's only going to get better.
I'd love to talk Matt Wieters if we want to talk to Matt. Wasn't Matt Wieters supposed to be like Jesus Christ?
Bauer with power, yeah.
Yeah.
I think any Orioles fan is lying to you if they weren't a little nervous that for the second time in like 10 years, it's like, oh, okay, great. We have our switch hitting college catcher, savior of the franchise. What could go wrong? And I am a bit of a Wieters apologist because by the standard of like his offensive ceiling, he didn't reach it. But by being like an above average overall catcher, like he pretty objectively
Wieters was a good player.
Like he had a good arm. Like I'd assume he was probably like top 10 in OPS or whatever for catchers every year. He was like solid by the standards of a catcher when he was solid by the expectations of like all position players.
Yeah, he was.
I'm looking at his. I mean, he made 4 All-Star games.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. That's a good career.
Did he struggle with injuries? Was he a guy who was banged
up? He had
up
Tommy John in like 2014, so the best Orioles season of my life. Had like 80 games of Caleb Joseph and like 60 games of Nick Hundley. I was like, I don't know how they pulled that off.
You talk about the Orioles, like we do it with our whole thing when we do our episodes here. at least I do it. Sometimes Jake and Liam go off the beaten path, but I'll just pick a random guy. Back in the day, I was like, "Hey, remember Fernando Abad?" Like
Yeah,
that's kind of the point of that. The Orioles have some random dudes in there as
yeah.
well.
I
My
think
go-to for Baltimore is always
Wieters.
Sidney Ponson.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be watching his homeland of the Netherlands in the World Baseball Classic tonight.
Yeah, Sidney Ponson, the second best Aruban national baseball player. That's pretty good to be the second best from your country ever.
Yeah.
I would say so. Maybe there's other Urubans who are better than Sidney Ponson. I just can't think of them right now, outside of obviously Bogarts.
Oh, I
But
thought you
no,
were doing a bit where you didn't acknowledge him because he left.
no. We here on the pro, we understand. Like, I mean, when you're offered a contract until you're 62 years old,
Yeah, we
and you're
all.
getting paid that much money.
I've got no. Hey, that's that. They. I still can't believe they gave him that contract. I say it almost every episode. I
No
can't.
ill will
It's like,
towards him.
no.
No. So, but again, as we move into 2023 now, again, the Orioles, totally different spot than they were a year ago at this point, and I'm sure your expectations for the team could reflect that. Simply put, before we get into the specifics, generally speaking, what are you expecting from those Baltimore Murderland Orioles this year?
I feel like they have to reach what they reached last year, which was 83 wins, or yeah, it was 83, right? Otherwise, like this offseason was a failure because this offseason was very quiet. Like they just didn't sign anyone notable. Like they got
Hey,
essentially
you put some respect on Kyle Gibson's name, all right?
Yeah.
like essentially their entire offseason was floor raisers with the premise that the ceiling raisers will be people already in the organization. Is this an insane premise? No. Is it a mildly risky premise? Yes. So it's like, okay, we're replacing Rugnet Odor with Adam Frazier. Let's see how that goes. Do not look at Adam Frazier's numbers after the All-Star break last year. He had like 4 good months in 2021 and is now on a run of like 8 unproductive months in a row. So we'll see how that goes. They got Kyle Gibson to replace Jordan Lyles as the inning eater, which fine. I talked myself into that being an upgrade. Like it seems like he has like better FIP and stuff, and the Phillies were just like no fielding and vibes, which worked admittedly. But if he's behind a team that can field better, that might be like a 10% upgrade on Jordan Lyles, sure, whatever. I would consider the most notable transaction, not in terms of the impact, but in terms of like, okay, this is a clear change of direction, is they traded a real prospect with a pulse who made it all the way up to AA for a pitcher. That is the first time they've done that. They have been exclusively trading veterans for prospects, and that was the very first time they went in the other direction. So that was and it was pretty underwhelming. Like Darrell, I actually don't know how his first name is pronounced because I'd never like heard it out loud. Darrell Hernandez or whatever. Like he's not even an important enough prospect for me to learn his pronunciation. He was like the number 16 prospect or whatever. So this was a prospect with a pulse that could have theoretically been like a real major leaguer, but they assessed that their infield prospect depth is cartoonishly crowded, and they got an actual established guy in a trade because they were doing the opposite the entire time, including
was
at
that
the
for
trade
Gibson?
deadline. No, did I forget to say the name?
I was going to say,
Cole
I thought
Irvin.
Gibson signed as a free agent.
Gibson was a free agent, and then they were like, hey, what if we get a second veteran arm, but this time we trade for it, something which was an unprecedented move in the Michael Elias era. So yeah, I'm obligated to root for Cole Irvin, so that way I can like prove like, see, they traded a prospect and the farm system didn't implode. What if they trade better ones for a better pitcher? Like I'm very much lobbying for the Brewers selling at the deadline and giving them like everyone besides like Gunnar, Grayson, and Jackson Holiday
for Woodruff,
like Corbin Burns. Yeah,
I was
a
Burns
Brewers deadline sale would be spectacular.
I was going
Yeah,
to say
a
how about
lot of
I have
talent.
nothing against the Brewers, but they are in. I think I looked. I don't think they have like any like infield prospect depth. Like their top outfield, like their prospects are like Jackson Chourio.
well,
South
they want that kid Garrett Mitchell playing center field. It
Yeah.
sounds like so.
Like-
All their prospects, for the most part, are in the outfield. Which I mean, if you're athletic enough in the outfield and you don't have a home there, I guess you could try to move somewhere in the infield. Shortstop may be tough, but you could feasibly play some second base there, maybe some third if you're good enough. That's tougher to do, obviously. but in any event, the Brewers, if it doesn't work out this year, it's going to be very, very fascinating to see what they do. And it's interesting you mentioned, the Cole Irvin trade, because first of all, again, being a lefty with the kicked back wall, I can't get over how severe of a ballpark shift that is, and you really saw it. And the should have hit that home run last year, Bozo.
Yes.
Memes, hilarious, make me laugh every single time. But you look at Baltimore, and a lot of their rotational changes coming, whether it's this year or in the very near future, or you saw it a bit last year, it is through the pitching prospects. I mean, DL Hall, is he going to be making the rotation this year? How many innings is he going to throw? Is he going to work out of the bullpen? And then, of course, the big name is Grayson Rodriguez, who I thought we were going to see last year.
Yeah.
That kid's got a lot of potential. So that's really where you kind of get a lot of that pitching rotation juice, which you don't necessarily see a ton. You see a lot of teams kind of trading for pitching, I feel. I mean, obviously you have enough prospects coming up for pitchers, but I think a lot of teams like to build their farm through the lineup and then kind of, piece together the pitching as they go. But Baltimore, they're putting their money on this Rodriguez kid, who I would imagine is breaking camp with the team. Am I wrong in that sentiment? Is Grayson going to be part of the 26 man roster to begin the year?
If this is the most cynical front office for service time ever, he will not. But if they're honest that he was ready, like right before he got injured, and as best I can tell, done fine spring training, then yes, he should be the number 5 starter. I don't know what 1 through 4 is going to be. It'll be Dean Kramer, the ace of Team Israel, Kyle Bradish, and then the aforementioned veteran acquisitions of Kyle Gibson and Cole Irvin. I don't really know.
Richard Blyer is actually the ace of Team Israel.
I believe he's the closer.
To keep lives, baby.
Sure.
Yeah. Like I don't know the precise order. They'll do 1 through 4, and I'm not especially concerned with it. Like they'll all pitch roughly the same amount. But yeah, Grayson is gonna presumably be the number 5. He will be on some sort of pretty strict innings count, I'd imagine. Where like I can't imagine he'll get more than like 4 innings until like June or something. But yeah, Grayson should definitely be on the opening day roster and getting to start, rather or not he gets to really go deep until way, way later in the season. I'm going to guess no. But hey, 4 innings in the major leagues is better than 4 innings in AAA if you're being limited regardless.
Yeah, in Bowie or one of the other.
Yeah.
Who was the AAA? Norfolk? Norfolk.
It goes
Go Tides.
Delmarva, which is in
Hi, Liam.
like Ocean City area.
Hey, sorry.
So, what were you saying there? Liam, I just had some crosstalk with him.
Yeah, it's Delmarva, Loe, which Delmarva is the combination of Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. Their actual locations like Salisbury on the Eastern Shore. Aberdeen, which is like Cal Ripken's personal little project. They're literally called like the Iron Birds to combine Iron Man, Oriole Bird. Then you got the Bowie Bay Sox and the Norfolk Tides. That are your little Orioles minor league overview.
That's a lot more fun than one of my biggest problems with the Red Sox minor league teams is like they're all kind of bland.
We literally have a smiley face in AAA. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's not the name of the team though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like you guys get some mileage out of this smiley face mascot.
Oh yeah,
we do.
Yeah.
No, but like
before that smiley face eventually assassinates us, we will be beating that horse.
Like I love the Sea Dogs, but it's not.
Sea Dogs are cool.
Yeah,
Dogs
I mean,
cool.
and then what's A is the Red Sox.
Yeah,
well,
it's
Salem Red Sox,
the Salem.
Greenville Drive too, which is like
that stinks.
What even is that?
What is Drive?
I miss the Spinners. Bring them back.
Yeah,
Spinners had a cool logo.
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah. The minor league
crocodile.
team the Orioles sacrificed was the Frederick Keys, named after the guy who wrote the national anthem.
See, I love that. When did you guys learn the Ravens were named after Edgar Allan Poe?
Like early enough. When did you learn? I feel like the way you're
season.
mentioning
this season I learned that.
it didn't come together. The name of the mascot.
I
is
guess
Poe,
I never.
Right?
Yeah.
It was
the name of the
Edgar
mascot is
Allan
Poe,
and
and then
Poe.
they faked Poe getting injured so they could bring back Edgar and Allan.
Yeah, the first season they had all 3, but then they were like, we can't pay 3 guys to walk around.
There's too many of them.
His ACL.
Yeah, they dropped it to Poe. No, I guess I never really thought about it or looked into it, but this season it was like week 8 or something. I was watching the Ravens, and then I was like, why is that? He was born in Boston. That doesn't even he died in Baltimore. That's why they're named that.
Stole him from us.
Oh,
Yeah, he has a statue here.
It's true.
Yeah.
to circle back for DL Hall, I don't know what they're gonna do with DL Hall, and I genuinely don't have like a strong opinion on what they should do because like his stuff is really good and he can strike out lots of people, but it also seems like he walks a ton of people. And like it seems like if they put him in the opening day roster, he would end every game after like 4 innings on 100 pitches with like 10 strikeouts and 5 walks. And like I don't know, like
The old Blake Snell.
yeah, like I
stat line
really
there.
don't
That's what
know
we call
like
that.
if he learns how to throw like 15% more strikes, that is like your ace. And if he like doesn't, then he's like the first 3 years of Randy Johnson without ever getting to like prime Randy Johnson. So I
So,
really
without the
I
good.
really don't know what to do with him because like I don't think he has his control fully figured out yet, but at a certain point, like if you have a top 100 prospect and you don't think he can start for your team, he can probably start for someone else's team. So
So, again, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
I'll
Yeah,
take
he's
him.
a lefty, right?
yeah.
He is a lefty. That's why.
I'd take him in a heartbeat. You kidding me?
Yeah, you could use him.
Yeah, like
Could-
if you tell me he has to be included in the Corbin Burns trade or whatever, like okay, fine.
Oh yeah, you do that for even
Yeah,
if it was
that'd
Brandon
be
Woodruff,
easy.
you know. Really
Well,
like
it'd be
Brandon
other
Woodruff.
people. It wouldn't be a 1-for-1, but like
Yeah,
I would definitely be fine with being DL Hall, Westberg, yada yada yada.
You mentioned not to bring it back to minor league teams, but to completely bring it back to minor league teams. You mentioned the Ironbirds with Cal Ripken Jr. I don't know if we've ever brought it up on this program, but do you prescribe to the theory, the Kevin Costner theory?
Yes.
Are you aware of that? So
Yes, that's good.
you're aware of
Good.
it and you believe it?
Yeah.
Yes and yes.
I
Do we all
enjoy
believe?
I enjoy any sort of conspiracy about like stuff that happened in the 90s. It feels like the sweet spot of like I don't personally remember it because I was born in 1997, but like pop culture and everything was still like recent enough. I don't know. I enjoy like 90s conspiracies. It feels like the perfect sweet spot.
Yeah, for those who may not aware, do you want to explain what the Cal Ripken Jr. Kevin Costner story is? Allegedly, rumor.
I was gonna
Allegedly.
say I'm not trying
Legally
to get
covering
sued
our
for
ass.
libel by Cal Ripken or Kevin Costner, so you can go ahead.
Allegedly. All right, legally not bound to this. This is out there. We're
Parody,
not just
non-actionable.
making this. Right, exactly. We're doing a bit, you see. The bit is that allegedly, one time, allegedly again.
Well, late. No, one time. It's late into the records going for the
Yes,
Iron
the
Man.
Iron
record.
Man.
Oh yeah, it's like already it's the mid '90s.
Yeah.
Let's say hypothetically you are the star player of a Major League Baseball team, and for the sake of the story, just for the sake of this explanation, this wild idea, some famous Hollywood actor is frolicking around with your beloved, your betrothed, hypothetically, of course. Again, I don't know if this ever happened. Hypothetically, you would get probably pretty angry about that, and you would punch, maybe beat the hell out of him, hit a wall, something like that, something to that extent, where you would again, just imagine, if you will, you injure yourself, you get hurt, and it would. With that in mind, it would block you from potentially playing a baseball game. So you hypothetically call up your team and say, hey, close your eyes and imagine Kevin Costner shagging my wife. Let's again, I can't speak to experience here. I don't think this has happened to anybody. So, but the team to preserve your streak that's been building for years calls a rain delay when it doesn't actually rain. And they say, oh wait, actually it wasn't a rain delay. The power allegedly was out, so we couldn't play under the lights, so we couldn't have a game. And then hypothetically, you heal back up, you get back onto the field and break the record. Again, I think who's to say if that actually did or did not happen? However, you do believe that happened.
if hypothetically something were to have occurred in some universe similar to this one, yeah, why not? It seems like a fun story.
I've always when I read that story or like stuff about him getting hurt during the streak, like how bad of an injury do you think he would had to have sustained for the Orioles. No. I'm gone from the. Well, I guess this is a hypothetical still.
This is a hypothetical, exactly.
But how bad of an injury do you think he would have had to sustain for the Orioles not to just like send him out there for a pitch in the first inning, like hobbled, and then just take him out? Like what? Like
this is
like
an AL baseball club, so they could have very easily done tomfoolery with DHing. If Cal did the streak in the NL, and he had like something mildly severe, then you might have ran into an issue. But they absolutely could have, in this hypothetical, like DH'd him for a week or whatever. And if he literally can't run the bases at all, we'll just make sure you hit the singles really far away from the outfielders.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, like 2 broken feet. I don't even like what would. I don't know what would.
What if it was a really notable injury and the Orioles just tried to play like gaslight us into thinking, like, no, there's nothing.
I'm really curious what it would have taken.
Does Cal
lost a limb?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did his right arm get amputated? I don't want to say anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make him feel bad about it, but it's that man. The man has no legs. What's going on? Why he's on the field right now?
Yeah, I don't know.
What was that Family Guy bit? Middle
Bucky
infielder?
LaGrange.
Yeah, with no arms.
He has no arms. Yeah.
This scrappy middle infielder was such an inspirational story.
With so many 2-armed players sitting in the minor leagues,
at least
even a guy with one arm would have made that play.
And the whole time, like the runners are running around in the bases, he's just kicking the dirt while the commentators.
There is precedence for a one-armed baseball player.
Jim Abbott,
yeah, old Jim.
Yeah. He played for the Red Sox, didn't he? I think he did. Jamie, can you get on that?
Jamie. No, he didn't. Fitz, idiot.
Oh, I thought he did. Definitely pitched for the Yankees. I think he had a
no-hitter.
no-hitter.
He had a no-hitter, right?
Yeah.
It was like he was on the Angels too. I feel like that was like who drafted him.
Angels, Yankees, White Sox, Angels again, White Sox again, Brewers.
Maybe include him in the Corbin Burns deal over to Baltimore. Is Gunnar Henderson going to win the Rookie of the Year this year? I would imagine you're going to go with an overwhelming yes.
I'm pretty sure they specifically timed his call-up so he could be eligible to win it this year, so I'm going to say yes.
Well, we also did that.
Yeah, he was ready probably like
the overwhelming
3 weeks before he got called up. And this gives me to mention my favorite like random absurd storyline of the Orioles, which was when Gunnar was like pretty clearly ready and they were pretty clearly trying to time his service time so he could qualify as a rookie this year. They just randomly stuck him at first base for 3 games. just to like try out the Moneyball plot for the hell of it. So just like randomly in like the middle of August or whatever, where like this team is still hanging around the playoffs and could absolutely use the jolt from calling him up. But it's like, hey guys, guess who's your new Norfolk Tides first baseman? Gunnar!
Yeah.
And like, I don't think he played first in high school or whatever because like, you know, this kid was a stud. So they just randomly decided to make their third base shortstop prospect take a couple reps at first just because they were bored waiting for him to like reach the time where they could call him up and have him not be disqualified from being a rookie the next year.
He's got to finish the side quests first before being called up, basically.
And like the Orioles don't really have like any like natural first base prospects. Like obviously you can move someone else there pretty easily, but like all of them are like third base, shortstop, second base, outfield. They don't really have a catcher after Adley, which is fine. You don't need to worry about that. And like they don't have any like natural first baseman. They'll presumably have to like move someone there this year just in case. But like it was just like, all right, yeah, I guess Gunnar's the first base prospect now. And again, this was only like 3 games or whatever, but it was when pretty much everyone was losing their mind. Like, call him up. Jesus Christ, who cares about service time or whatever? We were trying to make the playoffs.
Wait,
like, nope, Gunnar's got to learn first base,
what
guys.
happened to Mountcastle? Isn't he a first baseman?
Yeah, but I mean, they have Colton Cowser as a center fielder when they have Cedric as a center fielder too. The premise isn't that like you need the reinforcement, but it's just like, hey guys, there's no one at this position. If like there's a sudden injury or whatever, we don't really have any cool enforcements we can bring up.
I'm a big Mountcastle guy.
You mentioned the wall. Mountcastle is perhaps going to get sabotaged by the wall so much they need to trade him.
Yeah,
because like
he
you look at his
35,
baseball savant and it's like a bunch of red circles for like exit velocity, barrel rate, all sorts of good stuff. And then you look at his OPS plus, and it's like 105. So like, I'm definitely willing to give him another. Yeah,
dropped almost like 70 points.
Yeah, I'm definitely willing to give him another year of being a right-handed power hitter at the park that was modified to sabotage right-handed power hitters. But if we have another year where his baseball savant page looks beautiful and his actual real baseball reference page says you were 6% better than the league average, well, we're going to go shopping for a left-handed first baseman and see who wants a new right-handed first baseman, because at a certain point, a ballpark is like actively sabotaging you.
Could I interest you in one? Who could we trade?
Well,
Mitch Moreland was at camp today.
Coach Mitch
well,
Moreland.
I was
would you
gonna say
like
I
that?
actually like our left-handed first baseman, but we
Yeah.
could use a right-handed DH.
Yeah, like I feel like it's a very underrated storyline. Is like if Mountcastle has another like meh year because the park is now actively sabotaging him, they kind of need to trade him. Like at a certain point, you need to realize that you have a player who is no longer designed to actually be good playing home games.
I know exactly who we could trade. So you talk about Ryan Mountcastle, power righty. How about Ryan Mountcastle, but worse? May I introduce you into one Bobby Dahlbeck?
Yeah, that is.
Huh?
Yeah.
That really
What
is,
do you
yeah.
say?
How's Mountcastle's glove?
I think it's fine. Like I don't know. Like
He's
I've
got
never.
that on Dahlbeck
He
too.
Really
plays both
noticed.
corners, right?
Worst fielder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying Mountcastle was a high school shortstop, so there's presumably some athleticism still hiding in there.
Well, Bobby Dahlbeck
Bobby
was,
Dahlbeck was
major
a
league
pitcher.
shortstop too. Yeah, in a pitcher,
I
exactly.
was gonna say, I feel like saying a baseball player was a high school shortstop isn't really a notable piece of information. It'd be much more interesting if someone was already like a high school first baseman.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was a great player. Just couldn't feel.
I feel
for
like
shit.
Casas must have been a high school first baseman.
He had to, because he was always big anyway.
He's too big.
He was,
Yeah,
like,
I don't
pudgy.
know. I'm
I
gonna
can see
look.
that.
He's got to be. Like I literally, you can't imagine him like running around.
Yeah, but
No,
as far
he's-
as you mentioned with the wall, like I feel like okay, we're going to get 81 more games of plate appearance data for our right-handed hitters. If they don't like get any better, then we're going to have a very serious discussion about like the future roster construction.
Yeah, I gotta go right. No, you don't want to go too lefty dependent,
Yeah.
but you're gonna have to, take a look in the mirror about that. Before we get into the fun little game we have here, overall prediction in your heart of hearts. I guess, yeah, no, go with your heart. What are you predicting for the Orioles this year? Maybe a brain prediction and a heart prediction. What would you say?
I think aiming for like a modest improvement from last year is a reasonable goal, given that the off season was a very, very modest, tiny improvement. So like if they get to 86 wins, I would say, okay, cool. You picked up on 3 wins without doing anything in the off season. Now let's see how many more wins you can pick up if this is the off season you actually try. So I would say like 86 is what I consider like satisfactory. And I mean,
In
I
the
think
wild card mix.
yeah, like I think the big wild card, no pun intended, for like the entire league is that they totally changed the goddamn schedule. Like they're going to spend less time playing the AL East and more time playing the entire NL, and I have no idea how that's gonna go, because like you only get one.
I'm
division.
ecstatic.
Yeah,
personally.
you only get one division in interleague normally, and now you're playing all of them. So like on one hand, it's like cool, we're playing the Yankees less often, but like, is 6 fewer games against the Yankees worth now having to play the Dodgers and Padres every year? I don't know. No one knows. So, like, how the team does and how the schedule impacts them is like the great mystery for every single team in the league. So, I would like
say
to assume-
generally. I would say generally speaking for the AL East, just because it's such a slobber knocker of a division. I think it does. It's a rising tide lifts all boats situation for the AL East. I think teams in
NL
like,
Central,
NL
Fuck.
Central,
They're
AL
fucked.
Central, they do not.
They're
That's not good
toast.
news.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to come across a Padres, for certain. You're gonna have to come across a Mets, Braves. You know what I mean? But with that, you're gonna be facing the Nationals for sure. You're
we
definitely
get the
gonna be
Nationals
facing,
every year. That's not any strength of schedule boost for
that,
us.
well, then you'll be playing the Rockies
Yeah.
for sure. You'll definitely be
The Reds.
playing, the Pirates. You know what I mean? Teams like that. So I think that would kind of cancel out and divvying out.
How many wins
to-
did the Cardinals win the Central with last year?
I'm gonna guess 90.
They won with. Bear with me here, folks. I spelled Cardinals wrong.
93. The Brewers were second and
Yep,
8.
you
The
beat me.
Brewers were second and had 86.
Oh, that's not bad actually. 90. That's
And then
respectable.
the 3 other teams all lost at least 88 games.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's a tough division.
Cubs
So-
got better. Cubs got better.
Cubs
Brewers
got better.
got
Pirates
worse.
are interesting in the future going
Yeah,
forward.
the Pirates got like 4
Reds are
like,
toast.
legitimate major leaguers where like I think I've talked myself into betting they're over as long as like there's no like major injuries before like opening day.
Do you
like, if everyone
remember what
makes
it
it
is off the
healthy
top of your
and-
head?
Huh?
Do you remember what it is off the top of your head for the
I
Pirates?
want to
Just
say
out
it's
of
probably
curiosity.
like 67 or something along those
Do you
lines.
know what the
go over.
Orioles is?
It's lower than 83. I know that.
So
I
you,
think I saw like 70.
I'd
I
go
want to
over
say it was
on
like
that, too.
77.5 or whatever.
Dude, that's what ours is, isn't it? Something like that.
yeah, everyone's optimistic this time of year too. Like I think that's going to be over for the Red Sox. I would say. I think, but again, I think I'm looking at 80 and 82 for this team right now. So, all right. For those who aren't aware, Liam, do you know what who he play for is?
You mentioned it on the last episode, so I have a vague idea.
Jake, do you know who he play for is?
My extent of it is it's the Shaquille O'Neal clip where he holds up the
Guangdong Tigers.
the
The
Chinese
Guangdong
writing
Tigers,
and he
yes,
says
that's
"Ni hao."
For the uninitiated, who he play for is a segment at the start of every NBA season on Inside the NBA on TNT. The Inside the NBA guys, they've done this for like a decade. They've done this
Yeah.
for a while.
Charles Barkley, come on the
They get Chuck ready to go, and they rattle off a list of players who changed teams in the offseason. Random guys. So, for the baseball equivalent, we're not talking like Jacob DeGrom here. We're not
Yeah.
talking Xander Bogaerts. We're talking about, again, those random guys.
Yeah,
And they
B-tier,
asked Chuck.
C-tier guys. Like you've heard of them, but you probably didn't actually notice they changed teams.
Exactly. And you ask Chuck Barkley the question simply, who he play for. So we're going to play who he play for, MLB edition. There's 20 here.
Mhm.
So how do we want to go about this? Do we want to do it together? Like I'll rattle it off. I'll say, who's brought up on the screen, and then we ask everyone who he play for?
Well, to be clear, I'm the one who made it, and
Yes.
I presumably remember some of the answers I put in, so I will simply be providing commentary of, do I actually remember this transaction happening as I made the game, or was I completely shocked to learn this occurred?
And if you genuinely forget, feel free to jump in and provide
Yeah.
an answer of your own. Because you mentioned off camera that in the DMs that you forgot some of them yourself.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get this started. I'm not going to have the timer on. I'll just.
Are you
I'll
doing
just do
like
stuff.
a screen share thing or whatever?
Can I do a screen share?
I'm pretty sure I'd done that before with Sporkle.
I don't know how to figure that out off the top of my head because I am. I was going to read it aloud. I was going.
Yeah, I mean, you could just say.
Yeah,
it.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, just give us
That's
the
easy
name.
enough. Okay,
Yeah.
so play quiz there we go. All right, who he play for? First one, G-Man Choi. Who he play for?
Oh, I know this one. Are we just shouting out, or are we
Yeah,
going
how
around?
are we?
Yeah, just say-
What's the
Pirates.
Yes.
I was going to say, I thought it was the
Good
Pirates.
job.
Is it the Pirates?
Good job, Jake.
G-Man
I was
Choi,
gonna say-
Pirates? Correct. Who he play for? Jose Quintana. I do know this one.
He was just in the news too because he got injured.
National League, I believe, right? If
Oh,
I,
no.
if I,
No.
I think I know. I have a guess.
All right, Liam, what's yours?
I think it's the Mets.
Angels.
Oh,
Oh, it
maybe
is
it's the Angels.
He may have been with the Angels last year, which is why I was thinking about it.
It's none of those.
He was just
Oh.
in the. He got injured like 2 days ago. I feel like you would have like seen pictures of him in the spring
I didn't
training
see it.
uniform.
I didn't see it.
Is it the
What is
Angels?
it?
He's a
I
Met.
think it's the Mets, right?
I said the Mets. I got
As
it.
soon as
Yeah.
you said the Mets, I was like, wait, I think that's it.
Oh
Yeah, I
wait,
thought
am
I
I
heard that
supposed
on
to
a
tell you if
fancy
it's right if I
podcast.
remember it's right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
God.
hear it's right, yeah, just shout
Okay.
out like
right.
if it's across. If
Noted.
Liam says the
Winner.
Red Sox, I say the Yankees. All right, who he play for? Oh, for Red Sox legend and in Baltimore legend, I believe, Wade Miley.
Yes, for
Who
legends
who
for
he
both.
play for? Who he play for?
Oh man.
I'll give a
He was
hint.
with the
This is
Cubs
a team
last
he
year.
previously played for, which doesn't really narrow it down. He's been on like 7 teams.
Seattle.
No.
Fuck.
Wade Miley. He's not with the Reds again, is he?
Nope.
Oh my
Keep
god, who else did
naming
he play
former
for?
Wade Miley teams.
Oh,
'cause it's-
the Rangers. No, is he on the Rangers?
no.
Fuck.
Let me see
I'm just gonna random team. I'm just gonna say like the Twins.
Nope.
I don't know.
Is it the
I
Orioles
got
again?
nothing.
No.
Uh,
What was
so-
the team that used him to flip the Dodgers lineup, but it didn't actually work in the playoffs? Like the left-handed
Oh,
I
right-handed.
remember
Was
that.
that the Brewers? The
Yes, Wade
Brewers?
Wiley has returned to the Brewers.
He's
Oh
back
my
with the Brew
God.
Crew. Wade Miley to the Brewers. All right, so the POL guys are 2 for 3 right now. I'm not going to count that as a win for us. Oh, this is easy. Adam Duvall. Speaking of
That'd be the
bottle,
Bo-
Ooh,
the
I
Boston
don't know
Red
about
Sox.
that one.
the
That'd be the Boston
Boston
Red Sox.
Red Stockings. Oh, I know this one. Aroldis Chapman. Who he play for?
That is the most fucked up
KC.
one.
Kansas
On
The
this
City.
list.
KC Royals.
Yes, yeah. That just shouldn't happen. Like he should.
I know
like,
that only
go
because
to
of
like
the
KBO or something before
like
he should be
last
allowed
week.
to play for the Royals.
there was
Yeah.
a bunch of headlines about him last week. He got
It is pretty wild. He's getting a shot on a major league roster.
Aroldis Chapman to the Royals feels like a move you'd see in MLB The Show 17, like 6 years into the sim.
Yeah.
A sim into
I was
pop open MLB The Show 17, sim 6 years into the future into 2023. Aroldis Chapman to the Royals would happen.
I was with my little brother the other day, and we were watching a basketball game, and I think it was like Embiid or something was drenched in sweat, and it was like dripping off of him, and I was like, Sam, you want to see an athlete sweat? And I pulled up that clip of Chapman where he like looks down and it like a literal
On the
like
brim of his
rain,
like
hat.
slides
Top of
off
the
the
brim?
brim of his hat. Yeah,
Yeah.
And like
it's-
he always wore long sleeves, which
repulsive.
I think was like a tattoos thing or whatever. But like whenever I like saw him,
He would
wearing short
enter the
sleeves, it was,
game
like,
soaking wet.
disorienting.
And then he'd shit the bed. He'd absolutely
Yeah.
shit himself.
I'm gonna miss him on the Yankees.
Yeah, because they're not making the postseason in Kansas City. So, yeah, we're gonna miss him in those high pressure situations where he inevitably chokes. Next one, old friend, old Red Sox pal, Christian Vasquez. Who he play for?
Well, he is a twin.
He's a Twinkie.
Yes,
That is
Yep,
exactly right.
I know
He is
that
a
one.
Minnesota Twin.
that was one I just straight up like don't remember seeing. Like I think I was so focused on the fact
They gave
that
him
the
3
Twins
years,
got
I believe.
Correa again that I just missed the Twins doing anything else.
Yeah. Ooh, this is a good one. Who he play for? Taiwan Walker.
I
I actually don't know this one off the top of my head.
Oh gosh.
I think it's the Angels.
Is it, I was gonna say Anaheim too.
like
Anaheim's
the fact
just
that
the-
people
the
keep
go-to.
guessing the Angels because like the Angels offseason.
That's what
They
Wow.
need pitching.
Yeah, the Angels offseason was like 5 different like guys that are on like the solid second tier. Hold on,
Oh,
did I actually put an Angel on here?
no, yeah,
Yes, I
Angels
did.
are on
Yes, I
there.
did.
Oh, is it Philly?
Yes, he is a
Okay,
Philly.
Oh,
there we go.
shit. Yeah,
Another
yeah,
red
yeah,
team.
yeah.
There we go.
I
All right.
I knew that in the back there.
There you go. Taiwan Walker with the Phillies. I just laughing at the names again. These are names like when you're at a bar 15 years from now with a baseball fan. You're gonna take a sip of a beer and be like, "Hey, remember this guy? Remember Mike Zunino? Mike Zunino, who he play for? I didn't know he changed this team. I have no idea."
Oh,
I
Christ.
actually hold on. Let me see if I remember this one and I'm gonna say it out loud and then I'll check. All right, am I correct?
Is he a San Francisco Giant?
No, that does seem like the kind of move they would make, but no, he's
Yeah,
not a Giant.
so that was my guess. All right, so I don't know this one.
I don't know this one.
I had no idea he
I
changed.
got nothing on this one.
Is this like a bait and
Liam?
switch one where like, oh no,
Liam, you
he
got
play
anything?
he still plays for the Mariners?
No, I'm pretty sure he switched.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
Not,
I don't know
It's
it.
not the Wandon Tigers. He didn't go.
I really should have brought in someone in KBO for that. That would have been a
Yeah.
good pivot.
Wandon Tigers.
No, he is a Guardian apparently.
He is
Wow.
allegedly a guardian. Mike Zunino.
Mike Zunino? I had no idea.
Hand on the Bible or Torah for me, I suppose.
That's right.
Let me check, because I don't actually believe this, even though I'm pretty sure like Fangraphs wouldn't just make up a transaction out of thin air just to be silly. All right, yeah, I'm seeing a picture of him in the Guardians hat. He is a Guardian.
That's got to be a deep fake. Okay. So this is the Angel. This is the Angel.
Yeah.
Gio Urshela.
Oh, I knew
Urshela.
that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like Urshela, Hunter Renfro.
You
they
didn't
got,
know that,
like-
Liam?
no. You could have told me he was still on the Twins. I would have.
Yeah,
Was that a trade or was he a free agent?
I think that was a trade, but I don't remember what the other side got. Let me look.
Because he was with Minnesota, right?
Yeah, he was part of the like.
He was part of the
Donaldson,
IKF
Kiner,
Donaldson
Falefa,
trade.
like thing that
Yeah,
I'm
it was
not sure
Donald.
anyone
It
was
was
happy about.
Gio and Gary Sanchez for Donaldson and IKF.
That
Minnesota
really
Twins
didn't make
legend
anyone
IKF.
happy, did it?
No.
Yeah, no, because now the Yankees, and when we have someone on for the Yankees, we'll bring this up. Now they've got Peraza and Volpe
Volpe.
ready to go. They already have Torres. The prevailing idea that I've seen from some is that when Volpe is ready, they're going to stick him at third. So at that point, Torres at second, Peraza at short, or flip flop Peraza, or flip flop, and do whatever you want to do, right, with that side of the infield. You're just gonna have to bite the bullet on Josh Donaldson, who you're paying a lot of money to be really bad at baseball. Anyways, this is a good
I sincerely
one.
respect the extent that like every Yankees fan I follow just has like pure vitriol for Josh Donaldson and IKF. Like I have like vitriol for players too, but I feel like it's easier to do it on like a losing
their hate
team.
for Donaldson is crazy. Like
Yeah.
I've disliked Red Sox, but like Donaldson, they despise that guy.
I do think our low point last year, outside of finishing in last place, was I don't remember if it was like a Saturday night on Fox or maybe it was Sunday Night Baseball where IKF went deep at Fenway. It was like his second home run of the year.
It was
to
like
give him
in
the
August
lead, like
or
late.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah,
That sucks.
I was at that game. That was the Aroldis Chapman pickoff at second game, if memory serves. Yeah, that sucked. I was there with my buddy. I was like, we really just like couldn't have been Judge, couldn't have been Stanton.
Do you have season tickets, or are you paying like face value for a Yankees Red Sox game? Because I cannot imagine like.
Well, they
paying
were pretty
face
cheap
value
last
for
year.
that.
Yeah, and my buddy got him through work, so
Okay.
he brought me through it. But yeah, I don't have season tickets. Liam, you have like a mini pack, don't you, Liam?
I'm a 20 game plan now.
There you go.
They suckered me in.
Don't have to
Going
pay
for
for parking.
10.
Once they
It's
paid
true.
Devers, Liam said, "Take."
I was like, all right, I'll come to more than 10.
Aledmus Diaz, who he play for?
There's no way you guys are getting this.
I have no idea what this one is.
all right,
Not
let me take a shot.
single clue.
Let me take a shot. Can I have a league?
AL.
I was gonna say Major League.
Nope. That guy's nothing.
Is he a Mariner?
No. Any more
Ranger.
guesses?
Ranger.
You're getting closer. If he's not a Mariner and he's not a Ranger,
He's an Astro.
keep going.
Oakland
Is he an
A's.
He's
athletic?
an Oakland Athletic.
Wow.
God,
Are they
they're
signed
gonna
a
be
free
multiple
agent?
years too.
Oh my! What are they cooking over there? In
Oh,
the
that's
Bay?
right. They gave him like, yeah. I do remember that now. It was strange.
God, they're gonna be a dog water team, man. The A's. Vegas
As
is
far
gonna
as
hate
teams
watching
that are
them.
as far as teams that are benefiting from not having to play their division as much anymore, I think the A's are probably number one. Because like the Rangers, I don't know what the deal is going to be with them, but their roster seemingly should be fine on paper.
They don't move me.
Regardless, like the rest
Their
of the
rotation's
A's,
already fucked. They're all already
You
hurt.
don't have to play the Astros as much.
Yeah,
that,
like,
that alone is a step in the right direction.
You get to play the Astros last. You get to play the Mariners last. If the Angels and/or Rangers are vaguely competent, then you get to play them last. Like as far as teams that are thanking the Lord, this is the year they rearranged the schedule. It's definitely the A's.
We already mentioned this one, Kyle Gibson, Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's an
Already
Oriole.
mentioned that earlier, so that's an easy one. How about Jake Odorizzi? Who he play for?
Ooh.
This is way harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I don't
gotta
know
be
this one.
honest.
Is he a Cub?
No,
Jeez.
does spiritually feel like
is he part of the new Rangers rotation?
yes, I was gonna say
Okay.
we literally just talked about them 5 seconds ago.
They added like 16 pitchers. You know what I mean? So that's okay. So this is the one here. This is the one we mentioned off camera. Who he play for? Evan Longoria.
Yes.
Liam,
Okay.
you said you had a guess. I have a guess too. On the count of three, 1, 2, 3, say it. 1, 2, 3. Arizona.
Diamondbacks.
There
Correct.
we go. He is an Arizona Diamondback,
Wow.
right?
Is he?
When I was
Would they give him
making
1
this,
year?
like, there
They
was
give him 1
some-
year?
Presumably.
I think it's got to
Yeah,
be like
like-
it's got to
like
be
when
a
I was-
veteran minimum or something.
Yeah, like when I was making this, or someone's like, "Oh, okay, I guess I just missed that." That was the only one where I sincerely thought he was retired, and he is not retired.
Nope.
Like I just assumed it happened, and like I didn't really like commit it to memory because it didn't seem that like notable that he would have retired. Like he's getting
He's
up
gonna
there in
look
age.
weird in those jerseys, and they've started doing the jersey patches too. Theirs is awful. Not that the Red Sox is any great either.
I think they have the worst look in baseball.
Yeah.
When you have the purple
They
and
stink.
teal set
It
in your
sucks.
history,
It just looks like barf. Like there's no cohesion to it.
it's so
It's a
how do you
strange
do fellow
combination.
kids, right?
They're City Connects. I like their City
If you
Connects.
win a World
Yes.
Series with like your first ever branding scheme, that is your branding scheme for like the rest of your franchise.
That's what it should.
Very
That's your
simple.
identity.
Yeah.
Their City Connects are gas, Liam. You are correct there. But it's the same deal with the Marlins. Like, I don't know why they keep, like, the Marlins uniforms now are not good. Their City Connects are really good, though.
Yeah.
But they should stick with the, the Billy, the Marlin, the teal.
The Diamondbacks thing is even weirder because, like, everybody liked the purple and teal.
They're so good.
More than the maroon, but the maroon at least like had like it was a look, like it made sense, I guess.
The
but then
Brandon
like
Webb era.
yeah, and then they went to this,
The
and
Mark
it's like,
Reynolds
what the
days.
fuck is this like neon blue or what? Like it's just weird. I don't
Came out of
know.
nowhere.
Turquoise, right? It's
Yeah,
so weird.
I don't get it. It
Yeah, no,
stinks. The
we're-
gray,
we're-
they look like they're soaking wet.
Maybe
I
we should
think they,
cheer
like,
the MLB uniforms.
Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of funny seeing like what expansion teams like eventually like newish expansion teams like figure out their uniforms, which ones don't. Like the Rockies have been pretty consistent. Like
Rockies haven't touched
have
theirs.
changed
Yeah.
the colors, but like their logo is like still like Times New Roman or whatever, and like the jersey font is Times New Roman. Like the Rockies have basically left it alone, besides like whether or not they're going to wear like the black sleeveless jerseys 120 times a year. And like meanwhile the Diamondbacks are like, okay, I guess we're doing turquoise now.
Did the two of them come in together?
It was the Diamondbacks and
the Rays. The
and
Rays,
then
I
it was
think.
the
Yeah.
Rockies and the Marlins. I think that's the last.
Yeah,
four
Rockies and
expansions.
Marlins are turning 30 this year, and
My
the Rays are
God.
turning 25, which means that Arizona's turning 25 as well. Yeah. 3 decades of excellence over there in the Rocky Mountains. I know this one. Kevin Kiermaier plays for Toronto now.
Yes.
He is a Blue Jay.
Thanks for letting me leave.
I
Liam
love
Gessler
when
with
the
Fitz.
annoyingly good.
Yeah, I was just
defensive
like,
midfielders
hey,
don't
okay.
do
Yeah,
that
Fitz,
division.
Fitz, thanks for letting us go on that one. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go on this one? Because I know this one too.
To
And I'll let
toot
you
his
go.
own horn.
Yeah. I'll stand back on this one, Jake. Let's see what you know here. Will Myers, who he play for, buddy?
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Liam, do you know? Will Myers.
He is a
This
fantasy
one feels like a
baseball
trick
sleeper darling
question.
this year based on where he's going to be playing. Everyone's like, ooh, like get him at the end of your drafts because he's playing at this ballpark a lot.
What is he, a fucking Yankee? He's not a Yankee.
He's not a Yankee. No.
Is he in the AL or NL?
NL.
NL.
What's a good lefty park?
He's not left-handed.
Oh yeah,
Right?
that's why I'm. There you go.
And to be fair, this is a good anything park.
A good anything
for hitting.
park.
It doesn't jump
Okay.
out as a hitter's paradise at first, but when you look at it, it's crazy.
Liam, do you,
What?
I've got nothing, dude.
I don't know. This
I
one
mean, I
feels
thought
like
he
a trick
batted
question.
lefty, so clearly I'm not.
He is a Cincinnati Red.
Yes.
Oh,
Great
You're
American.
right. That does not jump
He-
out as a hitter's park.
It is a
will do
bandbox. It is a
numbers
sandbox.
That's a
Little
classic.
league park.
That's a classic signing. Like, hey, if I have half a good year, they'll trade me to a contender.
Yes.
I love
How about
that.
Johnny Cueto? Who Johnny Cueto play for?
Oh, I know this one.
I do too.
Did he go back to the Reds?
No.
Nope.
Miami.
Miami.
Correct.
Yes, he is a Miami Marlin.
Because he had that crazy introduction.
Fitz, that
with,
felt
like, the
racist.
speakers
by
and
the way.
everything.
That's not right. It is. It's like the local pronunciation.
Racially motivated.
Yeah, that
Right?
that accent felt off.
Have you
That was
ever
off
considered
color.
anybody
That was
Wilson?
off color, Fitz.
We'll bleep that.
You're the one to talk about off-color comments on this show, Mr.
Whoa!
Wallinger. Are you kidding me?
Whoa.
But yeah, I don't know if that'll work, but the vibes definitely work. Like I feel
Oh,
like basically
100%.
having like any like Latin player who's just like cool going to Miami is like, yeah, this could probably work.
Yeah.
They do
Have
have a lot of
innings
cool guys.
They do. There are some great vibes for Miami. Are they going to be a good team? I am.
You guys
not
ever been? You
convinced
guys
that
ever been to Miami?
I have not.
No,
Liam? Cats?
no. I need to
Gross
like visit
city.
my
I
like
don't recommend it.
grandparents who live somewhere in Florida, but I don't know how close they are to Miami. They are like they live in Florida like the Seinfelds do. Like they live in like one of those like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my
Miami has a
grandparents
very
live outside of
Miami has a
Tampa,
very dark, evil, sinister energy. I don't recommend it.
So my dad went to see a Marlins game once. This is like 2016 or so. Stanton was still there. He saw Trout there, so they were playing the Angels. He said like there's like nothing around the park itself. Like there's no like.
Wasn't it
no
where the
places,
Orange
like-
Bowl used to be? Right?
It was where the old Orange Bowl used to be, where Miami football used to play. Correct. It's on that same site, but around there, like, there's no like bars or anything like that. Like,
Well,
we're lucky enough.
We're blessed.
Of course, yes. Like not every place has
Like City
Lansdowne Street.
Field.
Exactly.
City Field's fucking crazy.
I mean, not every place has Utah Street in Baltimore. Not every place has Wrigleyville.
Well, Utah Street is technically inside like the stadium.
Yeah.
Like so.
But that's that same sort
there's
of.
pickles though. There's
You ever
pickles.
look at Kaufman?
There's two bars that are like across the street that I haven't been to because the idea of going to a bar like an hour before a baseball game is too much social energy for me.
You ever look at Kaufman from a like an aerial?
It's just right off the
just a
highway.
big
parking
it's
lot,
Arrowhead
right?
and it's Kaufman, and then there's miles of parking surrounding it. That's it.
Well, that's kind of Citizens Bank too for Philly. It's
which
where
sucks.
it's-
I think
it's
Citizens
the
Bank
link.
could be one of the best parks in the league if it was actually like inside of the city.
Isn't there like Xfinity Live or whatever? Isn't that like
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's
gathering
newish.
like-
Yeah.
Okay.
They do have that going on. So maybe there's stuff to do there. How about AJ Pollock?
Ha.
Who's AJ Pollock play for?
This was one I completely missed. I like assumed he was still a Dodger until I made this quiz.
He is.
Yeah, I missed this one too.
White Sox? Or was he with the
No.
White Sox last
He
year?
was-
No,
he was- yeah, White Sox last
Mariner.
year.
Mariner.
Yes, very good.
He's a
Oh,
Mariner.
okay.
Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Like the Mariners' entire offseason was like, what if we get some right-handed outfielders? So that seems like a pretty clear because they got rid of Winker and they brought in him and they brought in Teoscar. So clearly they
I was really
thought
doing
something was
Teoscar.
missing for like right-handed outfield dudes.
Well, they've already got the left-handed outfielder in Jared Kelnick. I'll have you know. Who's
Julio
already hit,
signed with Adidas today. I
Saw that.
Really?
Big get.
Yeah, very exciting.
Is that like a
news.
World Baseball Classic deal? Is Adidas like the DR manufacturer?
No, it's like a whole
Should be
thing.
a-
Like
kinda-
he's their face. He's their face of baseball or whatever.
I gotta say, I've mentioned this off cam to Liam for sure because we were talking about soccer jerseys. Adidas is washing Nike over the last couple of years.
I hate Nike. Don't even get me started. I saw
Like the 2010s
Nah,
or
I
so,
won't open
Nike
that
had a great
Pandora's
run
box.
there. Like when Arsenal was still under the Nike purview, teams like that. Nike had a great in terms of shoes, in terms of jerseys and whatnot. They had a nice little run. Nike's dropped the ball over like the last 5-ish years or so. Adidas has passed them in my mind. Their Arsenal jerseys, their soccer jerseys in general, Adidas is wiping the floor with Nike. And now, it's just kind of weird. I mean, I'm sure some people would disagree, but that's just this man's take. I've shifted more to Adidas sneakers. I think they look better than Nike for the most part. So
As a University of Maryland alum, I need to say go Under Armour.
yeah, Under Armour.
They
Yeah,
are our personal little like playground for like uniforms and stuff.
UMass,
they've gotten bored,
UMass is Adidas for
yeah,
what we had. So
Like Maryland hasn't like gotten any like weird new Under Armour stuff for a few years. Like I don't know if that was like more on Under Armour's end or Maryland's end, but like their uniforms have been pretty normal. Like they haven't had like a weird alternate in like football or basketball in like 5 years. And like I never really noticed that until
they had
now.
some really weird ones in
Yeah.
like the mid 2010s.
Yeah, the original like Maryland flag helmets where the helmet was like the flag entirely
Yeah.
was thick. And like now the helmets are like a spray painted flag on the back that I think is kind of too busy visually. But yeah, I gotta represent for the personal like one of Maryland's most famous like alums.
How far the Terps going to go in the tournament this year? By the way,
Oh yeah.
as I
That's
get
a
ready to
great
fill out a
question.
bracket that has not been made yet.
Yeah, I mean, I was working on an article for this earlier today. Like, their home road splits are basically unprecedented for like the entire history of the Big Ten, probably.
The B1G, you
Yes,
mean?
the B1G. They went 10-0 at home, 1-9 on the road. Like, they beat Purdue at home by like 15, but well, actually they were close against Purdue on the road. But like at home, they were like pretty comfortably like one of the best teams in the country, and on the road, they're just like, oh, I don't know.
that
That's
Purdue.
the magic
Sorry,
of a neutral floor is you don't know which one is gonna more closely represent how they play.
It's hard to say at the end of the day. That Purdue loss in the Sweet 16. Sorry to any Purdue listeners who may be on right now. Like they're so destined to lose before the Final Four. I don't care how good they are. That's just what Purdue does. In any event, Matt Carpenter, who he play for? I know this one.
Oh, Padres.
He is a dad. He is a dad.
Aren't they all? I feel like everybody's a dad now. So
right, yeah. Mitch Haniger, who he played for?
San Fran.
He's a Giant.
Oh, yeah.
That was like just hours before the arson judge fiasco.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
And we know this.
I definitely remember. Like I saw like an Instagram screenshot of like, "Hey, Aaron, come to San Francisco."
And
he's like, "Oh shit, Mitch is gonna be there."
12 hours later. Nope.
Let's hear it, Fitz.
Last one here. Who he play for?
Oh man,
Eric Hosmer.
He is a Chicago Cub.
Yeah. He's a Cubby. So there you go.
Just after
Certainly not in Boston.
Just after he finished remodeling his beautiful home.
I saw that they took a loss on the house. Did you know that, Jake?
Yeah.
Like a few $100,000.
I guess this might be inside or whatever, but I don't know how. I didn't read that thing in the article, but I guess they finished like, I mean, I don't know how much you finish a house, but they finished their house like literally maybe 72 hours before he got traded, or cut or whatever.
Oh no!
I saw his wife was quoted as saying it was like their dream home.
Yeah.
Fox News' own Casey McDonald.
Yes.
It's tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I found the Cubs offseason like kind of fascinating. It seems like they got like the third best option for like everything they were looking at. Like, I'd say Dansby was probably like the fourth best shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about. Oh, come on! I'm living in a house that still has landline phones. Huge L. Oh, come on! You know how to like edit this or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
No, it's fine. We'll keep it in.
We'll keep it in.
We have plenty of miscellaneous sounds that happen.
The police are outside Liam's apartment almost every episode.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, we hear sirens all the time.
I find the Cubs like offseason kind of fascinating because I don't know if saying like they got the third option is even best, but they got like solid B tier options at like every position where they thought they needed an upgrade. Like they got Dansby, who was like the fourth best shortstop. They got Tyon, who's like, I don't know, like the seventh best free agent pitcher or whatever. They got Hosmer and Trey, which is like both solid first basemen, but they are not. Was there even a good first baseman free agent this year? There wasn't, right?
I mean, Jose Abreu, but
okay, true, yeah, Jose Abreu.
He's just gonna DH, right?
But yeah, they got like the solid. They just got like solid options everywhere without like making a single splash, and I just have no idea.
Look how hard this picture of Rafael Devers is.
That's so
I need
cool.
that jacket.
That's really cool.
Sorry, that just popped.
Do the Orioles have a jacket like that? I don't think so.
No, they definitely do. They definitely, literally every team does.
The good colorways there,
jackets.
It's a great colorway. The black, orange, and in white. That's really good. So, all right.
Do the O's have a City Connect yet? Oh no, it comes this year.
It's supposed to come out this year.
Yeah, I saw like a leak of the socks, and the socks look
yeah.
like they are a map of something, and I can't really figure out what.
I couldn't figure out what that was either. Like I don't know where it was going for.
Maybe of just like the Chesapeake
I just don't want them
area.
to do the Maryland flag. It's tired, you know.
They've already done the Maryland flag thing just like on their own without any like Nike branding promotion.
All right, so.
All right, if people want to hear more from you, our friend, where can they find you on the old Twitter machine? They want to hear more about the Baltimore Orioles.
I am at naturallycats11. That is. The naturally is from some forum thing I did in middle school, and I've just decided to keep it. Cats is the last name, and 11 is I was born on January 11th. So when the original Naturally Cats got suspended, I needed to change the new one somehow. I was like, yeah, let's just do 11. That was
what'd you get bopped for in the original one?
DMCA. It turns out if you post copyrighted music often enough, the people who have the copyright on the music will have their
DMCA will get you.
Find you and get very mad at you. So my final blow was a montage of angry Yankee fans tweets after an Orioles loss set to New York. So I consider that a pretty funny
That's a good way to go out.
Yeah. I'll take that
hypothetically, that what you do is, again, just like the Cal Ripken Jr. story, hypothetically you set up a Twitter account and you do the hold tweet video sort of thing, like the slash
I've
video. I've
been doing that on my new account. I know how this works.
Oh yeah. Let's just say
I'm waiting to see when the copyright burner gets suspended. But if that one gets suspended, I can just make a new one much more easily.
Exactly. Let's just say hypothetically you saw a tweet from myself at Fitzimo Pena before every Red Sox game that says Red Sox game is about to start with a smiley face, and for the sake of this point, it plays Get Down on It with a silly little video. Mm-hmm. If you went into that video, hypothetically it would say it's a burner account. That's not the name of the account, but hypothetically that's what it is.
Fitz, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
I mean,
Naturally, this is 11. Thank you so much for coming back onto the program.
No problem.
We look forward to having you. If we play you in the playoffs, which
God,
yeah. But if you come back next year and now the Orioles have won 95 games, it will be much less of a fun time for us, but a lot more fun for you when you come back on. So, thank you, my friend.